Alright everyone, welcome to Let's Play Peacekeepers. Now we're at MacLeod Falls, Stage 3. And I don't know much to say about this one. It starts out with a bunch of enemies and it has split paths like every other level. And I still hate these particular enemies because they grab you. Also, we get introductions to weapons. Like this pipe. This pipe is pretty good at hitting an enemy from a distance, but one hit and it gets knocked out of you. Yeah. And if you get hit with it, if you get hit enough, it disintegrate. If you pick it up and get hit enough, it disintegrate. So that could be a problem. Yeah, these mutants are back from the previous, well, one of the previous levels. This is one of those enemies. This would be the first occurrence if you didn't go to the sewer level yet. And here's a better kind of example of the rage mode. And yeah. And yeah, here I was just trying to decide which path to go on, and I finally decided to go this way. Again, when I was playing through this game, I really didn't know which routes were which. I just wanted to show them all off in case they all led to different levels. It's another one of those levels with a lot of paths in this level, but they don't really actually have any good, they don't really lead anywhere in particular. This is kind of the easiest route to go on because of the instant death pits for the enemies. You can throw them down the pits and they're gone. But this technically ain't the best route if you want the good endings. This game has multiple endings, and the endings, well, they're dependent on getting different cutscenes throughout the game. I'm not exactly sure what triggers what exactly at this point, and I probably miss a few paths anyway, or a few cutscenes throughout this LP because I didn't think there might not been something there, or if there was, didn't really want to show it. But yeah, this. Oh, I didn't mention, when you die, all that happens is you lose one of your continues, and you get to choose from any of the characters that you have unlocked. You start out with the 4 characters that pop up at the beginning of the 4 stages, every stages. If I can speak right. And you start out with full health, and you get all your SP powers back. Meaning, if you didn't use any of your SP powers, you wasted them. So in this game, I try to use the SP as much as possible so that I can for the most part, so that I don't waste them, and because they're very powerful. And here we come to this stage's boss. Now, get used to this cutscene, because surprisingly, this cutscene shows up a lot. And I don't know why. This cutscene and technically this battle shows up a lot. So, yeah, get used to it. And this guy, he's annoying. He does a lot of damage, and it's very hard to get that little trick. And also I wasted some the SP attack. This guy is someone that I'm fighting horribly right now because I don't know the exact method to fight him at this point in time when I'm doing this fight. Therefore I'm doing horribly. I do figure out his pattern eventually and figure out when it's best to attack him and when it's not. But not right now. And one little electrocutions for good measure. And bam. And now they're thinking about running away. And there's our villain for the game. That creepy, ugly guy. And this is the weird thing about this game. Our hero just technically went Super Saiyan. And I'm not necessarily sure what they're talking about with the whole prototype gip here. It's probably another reason I like playing as Floyd anyway. It's just because he does that. Or Flynn, not Floyd. Who the heck is Floyd? Flynn. Anyway, the next stage is the airport, but there are a few split paths I didn't show off. Like if you go up here, there's the exact same room. But it's not the exact same room because in this room okay, it's the exact same freaking room, which is annoying and irritating. And if you take the right path again, it leads to another thing. But if you take the top route, it leads to the scientist. And he's probably someone you need to talk to if you want to get the good ending. I'm guessing. So taking the higher route allows you to talk to that guy and get the ending. But in the meantime, before we head there, we also need to go back over here and check out what this route is. And I was going to stop it about here, but here's the thing. The trap is different here. On this part and in here, they're the same trap here. Also, I was showing you can't hit certain NPCs here. Yeah, it's the same trap again here. And the enemies are pretty much the same. So I kind of had to show this part off again. But I think, in all honesty, other than the electricalness of it, and the fact that it's not instant kill like the other route, for enemies at least, because it just damages them, it doesn't kill them like the spike pits. This route's a bit harder because you have to deal with more enemies, and you can't just kill them, but you can set them on, but you can electrocute them, which is pretty nice. Now, after this room, I'll probably make a quick cut here, or cut back to the end, because nothing else really changes after these guys. And again, I still like the Fnord guides who just sit there and look cool while you get up close and pummel them. And I'm about to die. I'm dead. Yep. And boom. And boom. Now, this room is exactly the same. So now I decided to go back here. And I came back here more or less to show two things. One, I want to show off all the characters too a little bit. 2, this tactic is very useful against this boss. If you switch characters throughout the game, switching to Echo for this boss makes this boss a joke, especially if you use this technique. Stay far away from him and speed in with the knee. Therefore, her knee is probably her best move. And in fact it is, because it just does that. It does pretty good damage. But there's another reason I wanted to get here with just her here. And that will be showcased after this boss is defeated. Anyway, as to her special moves are this little flip kick, which does pretty good damage, but it's not as range worthy as the charge kick, or the charge punch, I mean, with Flynn. But this little kick is pretty much useful with her. And other than that, all her other things are good, except, well, and her little all attack, instead of being electricity related, it's a big yell. It just kills all the enemies on screen. And the lab don't get blown up this time around. And they don't go off about the prototype. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care, y'all.